All right, everyone, we have yet another installment to the Spooky Season Yapping Session. If you guys are new here, this series is where I take time this October, leading up to Halloween, to watch spookier films, Halloween films, horror films, that sort of thing. And this time, we watched The Witch from 2015. So I'm going to talk about it and then give it my review at the end. But before we get started, if you guys have been enjoying this series or are new to it, I guess, or if this interests you, please consider a subscription or even a like for this video. It helps me a lot more than you guys know. So thank you. The story of The Witch takes place in early America, so Pilgrim times, not early America, it would have been before America was even a thing, so the colonies, Pilgrims, that sort of time period. And we start off where this family from a small colony is getting kicked out, basically, or the father had some disagreements in the church there and elected to move on, to kind of go out of the settlement and start his own farm, that sort of thing. So he packs up all his kids, his wife, and they go off pretty far into the country. That's where stuff gets terrible for them because they didn't know that there's a witch nearby in those woods. So a bunch of stuff happens to them. It starts with them losing their baby. The witch steals the baby, and then just thing after thing keeps happening to them. Their kids keep getting hurt. Stuff gets missing. Animals get hurt. Kids die. Basically, everyone dies at the end. So yeah, it's just Pilgrim story. Pulls from different folklore of the early Americas. At least that's what it said. Which, in and of itself, I think is a cool idea. So that was a plus. I liked the Pilgrim theme. And they really, really went all out in terms of the dialogue, in terms of the way they spoke, having that older English twang to it. So I was watching it, and I was like, this is cool. And then, like, 5 minutes in, I was like, I cannot understand what the dad is saying at all. So I had to turn on subtitles, and then that helped a ton because they're using thee and thou and come hither and all that sort of stuff, which I guess is accurate to the time. But, you know, I enjoy something like Game of Thrones where obviously they have a sort of accent to all their stuff, and they say some words that are kind of older English words like, oh, this will happen in a fortnight, that sort of thing. And why am I laughing? But this one, like, goes overboard almost to the point where, yeah, I had to turn on subtitles because I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. The dad did have a really, really cool voice, though. It was, he started kind of the opening dialogue of the whole movie, and I was like, this guy sounds sweet, man. Sounds sweet. And it kind of started with the face of none other than Anya Taylor-Joy, as we see here. Yeah, she's cool. I like her as an actor. I don't know too much about her, but she was obviously the spotlight of this movie. So I was very, very impressed with her performance. And then the dad, he was pretty cool. And then I looked him up, as you can see. He's been in a shit ton of stuff. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is. He looked extremely unfamiliar to me. I was like, I've never seen this guy in my life. Then I look up his name, and apparently I have. He's been in Fantastic Four. I guess he was Galactus. Obviously, that's what we're talking about. Nosferatu. I don't know who he was in Nosferatu. Maybe he was Nosferatu. Then Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, what the heck? There's no way. And then I looked at this picture. I'm like, oh, is that Yondu? And then Deathly Hallows, I'm like, I have no idea who the heck he is in Harry Potter. But, so yeah, he was in it. There were a couple other cool people in it. Obviously, Anya Taylor-Joy. Everyone knows her. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, the woman from Game of Thrones. Gosh, I hate her. Catelyn's sister. I forget her name. But the mom of Rob and Aaron. Jeez. She's a piece of work, man. And then we had this kid. And then some other people. But yeah, that kid, he did pretty good. The kid did pretty good. There were only a couple times I was like, what the heck are we doing? But yeah. Especially when he was dying. I was like, whoa, okay, dude. Way to really put your heart and soul into the performance. So, anyways, there were some good things about this movie, and then some terrible things that I really hated. So here's our family. We got Galactus, we have Princess Peach, we have Robin Aaron's mom, we have Little Boy, and 2 twins. And we had a goat named Black Phillip. The story was okay. It was good for what it was trying to do. This whole folklore story, pulling from, like I said, Old English folklore. So that's good. Things I didn't like: how gruesome it was, how gross it was, how disgusting it was, especially early on. So the kid gets taken, their baby brother gets, I don't know how she didn't see some witch kind of run up and snatch him and then hobble away, but it's whatever. The kid got stolen, and just this, I didn't like that, because obviously the kid dies, but then what the witch does to the baby is just disgusting. And so yeah, very early on I was like, I hate this. And the witches were always running around naked all the time, all old and gross looking. I'm like, this is nasty, man. But especially what they did to that baby, it was gross. What else didn't I like is that these kids were annoying. They were so annoying. Oh my gosh. I guess they were supposed to be annoying, but still. Like, shut up. Especially the girl. Oh, jeez. Yeah, her. Oh my god. I can't even look at her. She annoys me so much. So that was cool. No, it wasn't cool. It was the opposite of cool. What else? I just didn't like how it all ended, to be honest. How literally everyone died except for her. And they were just getting picked off one by one. You know what I did like, actually? I liked the character of the brother. I forget his name. Little bro was struggling, man. There were no baddies, and he was getting the damn hots for his own sister. I'm like, oh my god. Dude, chill out. Other than that, the brother was a great character. He was like, I don't know, maybe 12 in this story, but he was trying to be a good eldest son and help when they were struggling, when they were needed food. He's like, you know what? Instead of having us sell off my sister to some family so that we can get some stability around here, I will take matters into my own hands. So in the middle of the night, he goes out with his rifle, goes out looking for food, checking the traps in the forest. She ends up going with him. Thomason, I think her name is. I forget the boy's name, but they all go out into the woods together, and then of course shit goes down. He gets lost, she makes it back, and then little Buster here got seduced by the young hot witch, and then she ate his face basically, and then put like a demon inside him, and they ended up dying, and then everyone else ended up dying. But him as a character was pretty good. He was like, I want to help out the family. I want to be the man of the house and help as much as I can, and as well as trying to protect his sister the whole time. So he was cool. Yeah, but there was just a ton that I didn't like. I already said it was gross. Everyone died. And then I guess that brings us to kind of the ending. Here she is. So everyone ends up dying in this crazy string of events, and Thomason is the last one standing, basically, and she's got kind of nothing left to live for. She's just this young woman in the middle of nowhere, who knows how far from the settlement that they left, and she just killed her mom because her mom tried to kill her because the mom thought that she was the witch. So it was basically them two were the last standing, and then she had to kill her mom, and then she was just like, crap, I'm screwed. And who did she turn to? Black Phillip, the goat, who ended up being kind of a vessel for the devil to talk to her, and then she ended up pledging herself to the devil. And yeah, ended up becoming a witch herself. And at the end, they had their weird cult ritual where they were all floating around naked and kind of bowing to the flames and being weird. Her and her new witch friends. It was disgusting. Yeah, I hated that because they lost and she gave herself up to the devil or whatever. But that being said, I thought the way that they portrayed the devil was very well done. What do I mean by that? I mean, throughout the whole movie, these guys are poor. And you see their clothes, you see the way they live. They got these like fur moccasin shoes almost. They got all these poor clothes. And then when the devil finally speaks to her at the end, it's all dark, so you can't really see anything. But he manifests himself in human form. And the first look of him you get is his fancy, expensive boots. Like regular leather boots with, what are those, like cowboy stars that are on the back of the boots? He had some of those. And then his clothes were just the most expensive, fancy clothes of the time. And then you see him kind of behind Thomason. You see him behind her, and you get more looks at his clothes and how good looking he is. Just rich, fancy, good looking, tempting. And that is kind of how the devil is portrayed realistically. I'm not talking about red horns and a pitchfork and a tail, but like if you go from the Bible, it's like, I don't know. There's always like, hey, he can make himself the most beautiful, tempting person of the world, and they portrayed that in that very few moments that he was actually in this. And I was like, okay, that was actually well done in the way they portrayed him, in the way he's rich, has a lot to offer, and tempting. That's why he is dangerous. That's it, like even in real life, even in the real world, that's why evil is dangerous, because it's tempting, and looking at it, it looks good. With whatever vice or sin that may pertain to in each individual's situation, whether it be like greed and money or like status, that sort of stuff, or even lust, all of that looks tempting, looks good in the moment, and that's why it's so easy to break, to falter, to bend to evil. So I thought that small portion where they actually did show the devil at the end was well done. The rest of the movie, I really didn't like. I did not like it. And it just started off bad from the very beginning, where it was just the most grotesque thing with the witch. And like, if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. And then she like covers herself in the blood, and it's like, it's disgusting. So, that being said, would I watch this again? No, absolutely not. I've seen it already. Anya Taylor-Joy did a great job. She was cool. But the rest of it, I just was not a fan of. Cool idea. I'll give them that. But just me personally was not a huge fan of how the story ended. And for that reason, what am I ranking it? What is my review? Out of 10, I have to give this a 4. I have to give it a 4. There were some good things about it, but overall, I was not a fan. So that is my rating of The Witch from the year 2015. If you guys have seen this, let me know what you guys think. And this video is going on longer than I thought. Jeez, it always does. These videos keep getting longer and longer and longer as we get closer to Halloween. But if you are still here, that being said about the Halloween stuff, I kind of want to do on Halloween Day, probably release a video where I take a look at all the movies we've watched in this spooky season yapping session, take a look at what I rated them, and then make sure that all those are accurate and kind of give a list of, hey, these were the best ones that I watched, all the way down to the worst, which this will probably be at the bottom. Womp womp. But yeah, and then if I feel any of them need any changing with their rating, like after that initial rating, if I feel they deserve higher or lower, we could do a big collaboration of all the movies that I watched, and then do a final synopsis. So that'll be fun. Keep an eye out for that. It's coming up. We got a week until Halloween from the time I am filming this, and yeah, I'm excited. If you've watched this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. That's about all I have to say. Please consider giving it a like if you liked it. Dislike, you know what? Please don't dislike. But yeah, if you like what I do here, I like talking about movies. I like reviewing movies and that sort of thing. So if that's something that you enjoy, please consider a subscription. That helps out a lot. Other than that, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.